All right, now for lesson 3.2, we're going to solve systems of inequalities by graphing. So you've graphed inequalities before. So now we're going to graph a system of inequalities. So we're going to practice Content Standard ACED 3 and Mathematical Practice 1. Previously, you solved systems of linear equations graphically and algebraically. Now we're going to solve systems of inequalities by graphing, and we're going to determine the coordinates of the vertices of a region formed by the graph of a system of inequalities. Doesn't that sound awesome? Aren't you going to feel so smart when you're done with this one? We have one new vocabulary word today, system of inequalities. Solving a system of inequalities means finding the ordered pairs that satisfy all of the inequalities in the system. And we do that by first graphing each inequality, then we shade the correct area, and then we're going to identify the region that is shaded for all of the inequalities. This is the solution of the system. What does that look like? So in example 1, let's practice it a little bit. They ask us to solve the system of inequalities by graphing. So you're familiar with graphing the equations. Notice this one's got an underline, so it's the solid line. And the plane inequality, less than, is a dashed line. On this first one, it looks like we shaded region 1 and 2. And on the second equation, we shaded region 2 and 3. Now, there's an intersection of the regions. Region 2 is the solution of the system of inequalities because it's shaded with this one and it's shaded with this one. So it's where they intersect, the region that intersects. Notice the solution is a region containing an infinite number of ordered pairs. So let's check your progress. Solve this system of inequalities by graphing. So pause the video, then come back in a little bit and check to see your answer. Did you answer B? If you looked, all the lines are graphed the same, so it's not the way the lines are graphed, but notice all the regions are shaded differently. So you had to go in and check the shaded region for each one to see where they intersect. Now we're to solve the system of inequalities by graphing. So we're going to graph these two inequalities. But notice this one's shaded this direction and this one's shaded this direction. They don't intersect. So because they don't overlap, the solutions have no points in common. So there is no solution to the system. We would indicate this answer as the solution set, either the empty or the null set. This is the null. Time to check your progress. Solve the system of inequalities by graphing. So graph these two inequalities, shade the regions, and then come back and check your answer. Well, first of all, we can rule out some things because of dashed and solid lines. Both of these should have a dashed line, so we can rule out C or D. So all it involves is the shading, and we should shade in between. Good job. Now for a real-world example. So pause for a moment and read through this, and then we will write the inequality. Okay, so we're going to let C represent the cholesterol levels, and since they need to be less than 200, and they can't be negative, so we're going to put the cholesterol levels, it could equal 0, but it can't equal 200. It has to be below 200. So we're going to show the cholesterol between 0 and 200 and including 0. Now the triglyceride levels, we're going to write as between 0 and 150. Now we're going to graph these two inequalities, and any ordered pair in the intersection of the graphs is a solution of the system. So here we have cholesterol, dash line because it's not equal to 200, is below 200. So 0 to 200. Triglycerides, 0 to 150. So this is the area that satisfies both of these inequalities. Time to check your progress. So you need to pause for a moment and read through this. What you're going to need to do is take some notes of the key phrases, the key words that are in this problem, because when you go to the next screen, this is going to disappear. So take just a moment and write down the keywords. Did you choose your keywords? It was category 3, wind speeds between 111 and 130, and storm surge 9 to 12 feet above normal. So which graph represents that problem? So pause for a moment, study the graphs, and then come back and check your answer. Did you choose A? Well, we know that the winds are between 111 and 130, so we shade between there, and that the storm surge is between 9 and 12. Notice this is between 91 and 140, wind speeds between 100 and 140, wind speeds between 80 and 135, so they don't even have the proper wind speeds. So this one has the proper wind speed and the proper surge. Now we're going to find the vertices. They want us to find the coordinates of the vertices of the triangle formed by these 3 equations. This will graph a polygon. The first thing we need to do to find the vertices of an enclosed region is that we're going to graph each of these inequalities. Then we're going to shade the regions, and then we're going to determine the coordinates of the points at which the boundaries intersect. So here we've graphed each of the inequalities, we've shaded the regions, and here's our intersection. And so the vertices lie at 1, 3, 0, 1, and 4, 0. That wasn't very difficult, was it? Just a little time consuming. Okay, now time to check your progress. So we're going to find the coordinates of the vertices of the triangle formed by these 3 inequalities. So we need to graph them, we need to shade them, and then we need to determine what the coordinates of the vertices are. So pause for a moment, work this out, then come back and check your answer. Good job. Answer C. Our vertices are -1, 1, 0, 3, and 5, -2. Well done. You're ready to begin the exercises.